Okay, so Cooper DeJean had his debut, and we saw some good and some bad. Plus, Nolan Smith playing deep into the third quarter, and why are Eagle fans already out on the youngster? But that's not all. There's going to be some tough decisions made for the Eagles to take their 90-man roster and bring it all the way down to 53. We also heard Jahan Dotson say it is personal the next time he plays Washington. Plus, could we see James Bradberry traded to the Cowboys? And if the Eagles aren't satisfied with the linebacker position, a new linebacker just became available. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So the preseason is officially over. The next time we see the Eagles take the field, it will be Friday night, Eagles versus Packers in an epic Week 1 matchup in Brazil, which from today is only 11 days away. Since it's 11 days, let's celebrate our wide receiver, A.J. Brown, who in 2 seasons as an Eagle has 2,952 yards, 18 touchdowns, and is 27 years old and signed for the next 6 years. Man, is it good to have football back. Now, I know I wasn't live for the Vikings game where we got destroyed 26-3, but it was a lot of backups. The only people I was paying attention to were Nolan Smith and Cooper DeJean, which we will talk about, although I did see Teron Jackson show out. Ben Van Sumeren looked real good, which, according to Jake Rabati of the NFL, linebacker Ben Van Sumeren's 85.2 was the Eagles' highest graded defensive player versus the Vikings, including a coverage grade of 87.5, which was the highest on the team significantly. At one time, the only way the Vikings could slow down Ben Van Sumeren was to hold him, legit hold him. As for the lowest graded Eagles defender versus the Vikings was Cooper DeJean with a 51.5. A lot of people talking about the play where the Eagles intercepted it and he got an illegal contact down the field. Plus, when he got beat for what would have been a touchdown, but it wasn't a touchdown because the wide receiver was out. A lot of people talking about them plays and saying, I don't know if he can cover. Again, we're talking about one preseason game for a guy who hasn't played since last November. Of course, there was going to be a rust factor. However, the way he was used at nickel, being a guy who was a run blitzer and really putting his head in there and making a couple huge tackles for loss and at the line of scrimmage, I loved seeing that. As for the Eagles cutting down the roster from 90 to 53, John Clark tweeted today that Eagles coach Nick Sirianni says they have some tough roster decisions at receiver, linebacker, and defensive back. The Eagles have to get down to their 53-man roster by tomorrow at 4 p.m. Now, granted, the Eagles utilize practice squad as much, if not more, than anybody in the NFL. I think it's 11 to 13 people you're allowed to keep. However, they got to go through the waiver wire, and there are a couple players on this roster that I think won't survive the waiver wire. And the first guy I want to talk about is Eli Ricks, who played crucial snaps for the Eagles last year as an undrafted rookie free agent. Again, had his struggles in camp this year due to the fact that he wasn't given a lot of opportunities, but as camp went on, he got better, and he still got that dog in him. And he's one guy I think if we cut will not clear waivers. So what will the Eagles do? How many DBs will they keep? That's all going to play into, will Eli Ricks make the roster? Because Josh Jobe, Zach McPherson, even a guy like Sean Stevenson, if we cut them, I believe they will clear waivers and be able to get on the Eagles practice squad. As for a D tackle I do not want the Eagles to cut is Gabe Hall. Again, limited opportunities in training camp, but we've heard some good things. He's made some plays. He's a guy that should have been drafted. He reminds me of the Eli Ricks of last year, but at the D tackle position. And we heard Fangio say he wants 5 to 7. So if we're keeping at least 6, I think Gabe Hall is the 6th guy behind Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Marlon T, and Ajomo. But if the Eagles like to keep 5, he might be the odd man out. And I do think somebody else will scoop him up and not let him clear waivers. Remember, tomorrow at 4 p.m., we will know every Eagle that is cut and still on the roster. Maybe I'll drop my 53-man prediction live tomorrow morning so we can see who I got right, got wrong. Let me know. Who is your shocking cut? Give me some of your names. You don't got to go through the whole 53-man roster unless you want to for my diehards. But give me some shocking cuts that you believe we could see tomorrow. As for the Eagles defense, Jeremy Fowler tweeted sources. Rams have granted linebacker Ernest Jones V and his agent permission to seek a trade. Now, Jones came out and said he didn't ask for a trade, just like Hassan Reddick did. But it's not him asking for a trade. It's the team, I guess, not willing to pay him more or do whatever that he might possibly want, maybe in the future, and they're willing to see what he can get elsewhere. I'm curious to see if Howie Roseman looks at him as a solid guy. 145 tackles, 4.5 sacks last year. He is a good player that could help us out at the linebacker position. Not going to lie, though, as preseason went on, seeing what some of these guys can do, I'm okay with the position, but you can always still make it better. Let me know your thoughts on that. Now, before we talk about Jahan Dotson saying he's taking the game against Washington personal, plus we hear from Cooper DeJean and Nolan Smith on their first and final preseason game, we also go over an article written by the New York Post about Jalen Hurts versus the Blitz. Huh? And could James Bradberry be traded to the Cowboys? If not, he might just make the roster. Let's hear a word from our sponsor, Manta Sleep. Literally sleep better anywhere, anytime with their sleep masks. They got the sound mask, the pro mask, the sleep mask, the silk mask, and so much more. My favorite one got to be the sound mask. The fact that something this comfortable and easy to sleep with lets you use Bluetooth to listen to your favorite podcasts, music, or nature sounds while you sleep is just ridiculously good. The sound is perfect and easily adjustable on both sides of the ear. They are true 100% blackout for deeper sleep, C-shaped eye cups for unbeatable side sleep comfort, zero pressure on eyelids or eyelashes, plus advanced materials and ventilation for unmatched breathability. Plus, the eyepieces are adjustable so they fit every single person. Like I said, my favorite gotta be the sleep mask sound due to the fact that you can listen to things, Bluetooth, side speakers, but I also have the Sleep Mask Pro. It's a little smaller, probably easier to fidget with, but they're both super comfy. And like I said, you'll get your best sleep ever. So click the link in my description and or the pinned comment section. Once you do that, pick whatever mask you want and use code PhillyMike for 10% off your Sleep Pro, your Sleep Sound, any mask you want. Once again, that's PhillyMike, all capitals, for 10% off your sleep mask. You won't regret it. So let's hear from Jahan Dotson on how he's taking that Washington game personal.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Dan Quinn and Mr. Adam Peters, and, they told me they think very highly of me. It was kind of just something that happens, these things happen all the time in the NFL, so I'm not going to take it personal until I see Washington, but, it's exciting. I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to put on the black and green, and I can't wait to get to work.
We need that type of energy. He also spoke on how this is the most talented team he's been around, and he just wants to find his role, but he is obviously excited.
It was a shock, just because, all I know in the NFL is Washington Commanders. But, at the end of the day, it's a business, and I understand that very much so. And, it all happens so fast, and you don't kind of get to react to it. But, I would say being out here today and being on the field and kind of taking the field and taking it all in a little bit, I'm very excited. It got me, I got goosebumps leaving the field today, just because, Philly, growing up only an hour and a half away from here, you understand the passion. You understand how much people care about the Eagles. So, seeing the fans go crazy literally after a third preseason game, it was exciting. It got me a little excited to be here.
I do want to say this, though. How do you grow up in the Lehigh Valley where Philly Mike has grown up and not be an Eagle fan? And if you listen to him closely, he don't want to say, I'm guessing, He's a Cowboy fan. Yuck.
No, I hate to say it, but I was never an Eagles fan. But, I'm making my whole family Eagles fans today. I'm going to leave that out.
Anyways, just listening to him, he's definitely going to put his best foot forward already in the playbook. We'll see how much he comprehends and learns in the next 11 days and see what role he has in the first game for the Philadelphia Eagles. But this offense is absolutely stacked. Staying with this dangerous offense led by Jalen Hurts, why is the New York Post writing about our QB1? I accidentally cut the part off that says New York Post, but trust me, it definitely is from them. ML Football tweets, report, Eagles QB Jalen Hurts tends to panic against zero blitz or when defenses show zero and then drop back, a defensive coach said. This could be a serious problem for Philly, being that Jason Kelce is gone and he was who managed the protections. All I'm going to say is this. We know the play calling had more to do with the problem versus the blitz than Jalen Hurts. With that being said, listen what Big Play Slay says.
I know he's seeing the blitz way better than he ever did, because, we got guys that can make plays and explosive because we had great O-line that can kind of pick up anything. But now they trust Hurts to, make plays on his own without just using his feet, using his mind and beating the defense himself. So that's why I see an improvement in Hurts is that the fact that Kellen got him, picking up blitz is real nice.
Yep, throw the whole report out. If he struggles in 2024, then we will talk about it. But Jalen Hurts is about to be on that MVP comeback. Moving over to the Eagles defense, Brandon Lee Gowton wrote this article that says, Eagle News, James Bradberry to the Cowboys? And so in his article, he talks about the fact that DeRon Bland just got hurt and his surgery is going to keep him out of football for 6 to 8 weeks. They do got some rookies, and they traded for Andrew Booth Jr., so they got some players to replace DeRon Bland, but none of them are veterans. None of them have experience starting, and the Cowboys could be desperate to at least have some depth and veteran presence back in the secondary. Look no further. James Bradberry is right in the division, and I think the Eagles will be willing to part ways with him. If James Bradberry doesn't get traded, I don't know if the Eagles will cut him. Yes, we can eat that dead money, especially if it's spread over 2 years because it's after June, blah, blah, blah. But we cut C.J. Uzoma after the second preseason game to give the veteran time to go find another team. I think they would have respected Bradberry enough to cut him early so he could go find another team. Who knows? But maybe he's going to make the roster as the backup safety for this Eagles team. I don't know. Again, Sidney Brown will start the season on the PUP list. Who do we have behind C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship that's not named Avonte Maddox, who could also play in the slot? I'm just saying, we got to see what goes on with Bradberry. But if the Eagles traded him to the Cowboys, I would die laughing. Unless he turns back to all-pro James Bradberry, then I'll be sick. To finish things up, Nolan Smith's last preseason game, it was type concerning that the coaching staff let him play to the middle of the third quarter, but he didn't get as many snaps as people are making it out to be. Again, Fangio's dropping him back in coverage. He didn't get a sack. He got to work on some things, especially against the run. I'm not saying he don't, but I just think that we're being too critical, right? Yes, we got rid of Hassan, but he's not here to replace Hassan. Bryce Huff is, right? He's here to just grow his role. Last year, he was barely involved in the rotation. This year, he'll be more involved. And I still think 6 or 7 sacks is viable for Nolan Smith. People don't like how confident he still is after this preseason. Listen to him talk.
Man, still show him, I'm still the same person who I am, and I love playing ball. You ain't got to beg me to play or ask me to play. So that's what I wanted to do for a dream. Just like if y'all wanted to be reporters, y'all die to get in the locker room as soon as we all ready. So why wouldn't it be the same when it come to playing ball? How did you feel today? I feel like I did great. I had some good rushes. The ball was coming out fast. It was one of them that I was real close, just a tick closer. And you can't worry about that. You got to always play the next play though.
I'm not saying he's going to do what BG did, right? But he ain't the only one. When Hassan Reddick was drafted to the Cardinals, in the first 3 years, don't quote me, but I think he had 1.5 sacks, then 4.5 sacks, then 2.5 sacks. So in the first 3 years, he was starting, first-round pick, I think, under the 20th overall pick, and he took his time to get going. And if we don't get more than 4.5 sacks from Nolan Smith, and if I see him struggle versus the run and not do nothing with the rotation, I'm going to call him out the same way everybody else is. I just think preseason, the way we treat it, right? We didn't even play our starters, really, the way we treat it. I'm not too concerned. I even heard people talk about Cooper DeJean is never going to be able to play corner and or trash because he didn't wow in his first game. And like I talked about in the beginning of this video, he's been out of football since November. He knows he's rusty and got to be better. Listen to him say what he didn't like about the game and what he liked about his game.
I was all right. Still, a lot of things to learn from. You go back, watch the tape. Just a couple missed tackles that I remember. So I just gotta be better. Gotta stick on guys better as well. But there's lots to learn. We got a great group of guys to learn from as well.
What did you like about your performance today?
I feel like I executed the calls. I knew what I was doing out there. It's just got to be in better position sometimes on a few of those plays. Be able to make a better play on those. But it's good to get back out there and kind of it'll be a good learning experience once I go watch this tape.
Did some good, but he did have the lowest Pro Football Focus grade. All I'm saying, when a guy don't play for that long, give him some time. Teams liked him. We like him. We seen what he did in college. We can't judge him like that. The Eagles still have a very talented defense, a lot of options, and we're going to see how it all plays out. The offense, super stacked. Defense, questions, but I still think good questions. With all that being said, click the link in the description. Get your Manta Sleep. I promise you won't regret it. Them things will help you sleep at night. Leave a comment in the comment section. I love hearing from y'all. Muscle up. Drop that in the comment section if you got something to say. And, of course, hit the like, subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell. I will be going live a lot more. Season is upon us. And I love hearing from y'all. We out.